Hello, crafty friends. My name is Jessica, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a card using some transfer gel and foil. I'm going to give a little bit of a caveat. This card did not go as originally planned, and we're going to talk through that. Card making is not always sunshine and rainbows. We do have unexpected things that happen, and so that's why I wanted to ensure that this video was still put out for you, and we're going to talk through what I've done differently. So if you've not used transfer gel from Deco Foil, I highly recommend it. It is super fun to use. And here I'm just using a stencil from Simon Says Stamp and putting a very thin layer over the top. I'm then going to go ahead and clean off my stencil right away and then move into drying the transfer gel. Now, this is where I have a little bit of an issue. Typically, I would normally let this air dry, but because this is a layered stencil, I did need to go ahead and go and heat set it off site. The second thing is typically I would send this through a mink machine, but when I do that, it does flatten out and kind of bubble out the image. And I loved this image the way that it was. I didn't want it to get a little bit more heavy after sending it through the mink. So I am doing this method without heat. Now, I was rubbing on the transfer gel and I got a pretty decent transfer, but now I'm going into the second layer and everything is going to look really good until I go to heat set this second layer. Now, some individuals might like the way this looks. The foil takes on a more patinaed, antique, crackled look, and you're going to see that here in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this stencil and clean it off just like I did with the first one. I don't want this product to adhere to these stencils and make them gummy. And then we're going to go ahead and heat set this off camera, and you're going to see it here. Notice how the foil turned dull and kind of crackly. I really liked that look, but it looks very different than this fresh foil that I'm gonna have to do. Now, I bet you would get a lot better results if you heat set this, but like I said, I didn't like the way the heat setting worked and how it smushed out. But look at this. You can see it now, how it kind of dulled the gold and almost made it patinaed slash crackled. So now I'm going to go ahead, and there were a couple spots that didn't transfer. So I'm just pushing that on to get a better look. And then I'm going to go ahead and make it match the other layer by adding heat to it. So look at how we went from a shiny foil to a more dull antiqued foil. In the future, I will probably do a card like this over time, letting the transfer gel dry for a good 30 minutes at least before moving on to the next layer, and then also using my mink or a laminator to transfer the foil. Yes, it distorts the image slightly, but I think I would get better results. And I like the shiny foil. While I'm not mad about this foil look that I got, I think the shiny would be best. Now, here's another little boo boo. I got a little bit impatient. And after heat setting this, I realized it was not heat set at all. So I went ahead and just picked up that whole center. I'm trying to make it work. I realize the other two are still very tacky. Heat set them, and for some reason, it is just not sticking. So I'm just going to get down as much as I can, and then we're going to go ahead and pivot to a different solution and move away trying to get the foil down. It's getting kind of gunky. We're definitely losing our shape at this point. And then there's one spot on this large one that I just cannot get to adhere. So we're going to brush off any of the strays. We're going to take our little lovely eraser, which works great, and hit the parts that are a little bit strayed and try to clean up this image a little bit more. This works beautifully to knock off foil with this overfoiling. It even worked really great on this blended panel. There's only one or two spots that I could tell in person. So overall, I was very happy with the way that eraser worked. Now, to hide some of these imperfections, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of splatter. This is probably my favorite gold splatter. This is the Gansai Kuretake palette. This I've had forever, but I mostly use the gold. It matches beautifully with this Deco foil gold in the similar color tone. And we're just going to go ahead and grab a fan brush and just splatter this panel like crazy. I wanted to kind of cover up some of those imperfections and just add a little bit more. But with the lighting here in my craft room, it's kind of making it look a little strange. So be sure to stick around till the end to see the the final card. Now we're just going to go ahead and I'm trying to decide if I wanted to add a white border. And I did go ahead and decide that I want to just add the slightest little white border all the way around. So I am just taking off a little bit of each side to give me that very thinned white border. Now my card base was a little bit off, so I need to fix that. So I'm just going to go ahead and push it up against the edge of this score buddy and use it to kind of offset that a little bit and get it back to where it needs to be. Then we're just going to use some tape gun and go ahead and place this panel down. As you can see, the metallic paint here, when it gets right in the middle, is kind of giving a strange bleaching technique, and it does not look like that at the end or even in person. I think it's just the metallic nature that's slightly fluorescing and kind of giving that blended background look where it's all bleached. So this is my solution to fixing the centers on these flowers. I'm going to go ahead and take these jewels and we're just going to cluster them into the area of the centers to cover up the lack of foiling that I achieved or the inconsistent foiling. I really love these Pinkfresh gold jewels because there are 4 different sizes and worked perfectly to get this different dimension in these centers by using the smallest to fill in the gaps and creating a little bit more of realism, in my opinion, with having the different sizes. I had been thinking about doing this card all day using a stencil to create this foil background. And when I originally thought about it, I was not thinking about a layered stencil, but I'm glad that I did. This is just a different way to add foil. And some people really enjoy this more distressed look with foiling. And so this is just another way to kind of look and say, hey, mistakes are not mistakes, they're happy accidents. So I apologize for the clipping in the video and the change. My phone unfortunately overheated and shut down when I was mid placing the jewels. So I went ahead and had to wait for it to boot back up and get back into it. I did pivot from using the Hello die from the beginning and went ahead and went with a more simpler strip here from Simon Says Stamp. And then I also cut this butterfly out, but decided it looked a little busy. So I'm going to simplify this card. We're going to omit the butterfly. I couldn't figure out where to put it. I tried really hard trying to figure out where it would look best. And I just decided, you know what? This card speaks for itself. The gold jewels, the gold foil, the gold splatter. I just went ahead and we're going to keep it really simple with this sentiment. And we're going to cut it because I had this vision of wanting to put it on an angle. And we're going to go ahead and pop it up. And that's going to be the card for today once I get these laid down. All of the items that I used today to make this card are listed below. I do use affiliate links, so what that means that if you click on a link and shop with me, I do receive a small commission. Now, I just want to let you guys know that I'm thankful for you being here today, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. Take care.